What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase, and this being, if I'm doing the math right here, my 100th awesome Blu-ray purchase. I wanted to try and find something. I was hoping I'd have something really major for this video, as it being my 100th of this series. But I didn't really have like a major release right now in my hands to warrant that, I think. But instead, what I did get today was a big Vinegar Syndrome delivery. I think this some of this was from their summer sale, and I just picked up a bunch of stuff, which I usually do because a lot of stuff gets half price on that sale, and I start just grabbing titles, along with a couple of their pre-orders. And so here it is. So I'm going to pull it out and we're just going to go through it and see what we got. So, and what I love about this, it's a big order from Vinegar Syndrome. They pack everything in little separate bundles, which is really cool. So you have nice little bubble wrap. I'm going to take this first bundle, and inside we have Night Screams. And it looks like this was like a little slasher film. I haven't opened it up yet. And a lot of these I grabbed too because some of the ones that still had there were limited editions that were still available, and it just sounded a lot interesting. And I just think this artwork, that's great. Let's see. But yeah, this is a lot of special features. I'll probably go through this at a different time, but this is something that looked like I want to check this out. It just looked interesting to me, so there's that. This one was a fun one. This is actually a limited edition, if you will. And that was, and I just grabbed this. I don't know why. It's not a great movie, but something about it I thought was really cool in this edition. Again, this why not? And that's Boggy Creek 2: The Legend Continues. I've only seen this movie via Mystery Science Theater, and it was hilarious. And was it Charles B. Pierce, I believe it is, who directed this, who was known for also doing, I believe he did the original Boggy Creek, which I can't seem to find, or Legend of Boggy Creek, which I always hear a lot of good things about, or at least not horrible things. I don't know. I think I hear it mentioned more positive than this. I think from what I understand, a lot of stuff in here might be repurposed from that original film, but I've never been able to find that, and I like to find this to see it. But he also directed the Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is another movie that I had, which I think is really cool. But this is a nice set. So here's the other image side, and here is also, this is the limited edition of 4,000. This is 2,788. Actually, I wouldn't even wear that part that I was getting that, and this is different. This is a bottom loading slip, so you have a nice hard slip with a cover, and then you've got the disc in here. Again, I haven't even opened these up yet, so that's how fresh these are. And then a special thing here, which is funny because I was just wondering to myself, was they actually sent my Showgirls replacement discs, which, if you remember my Showgirls video, not long after it came out, there was some talk about, there was a issue they had found with, I think, the sound or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they were going to issue out replacements for people who bought the film direct from them. They would put out the replacements without you. We wouldn't have to do anything. They would just send it out to me or on their own. And I hadn't heard anything. They said it was going to, by the end of, I think, July. Mid-July, they were hoping to have them out, but I hadn't heard anything. So I was starting to wonder, well, what happened to that replacement? And then, lo and behold, they stuck it in here with this shipment. And also, they gave me another booklet. I don't know why they replaced the booklet. So now I have two of these, which is weird. I mean, I get the disc. And actually, I wasn't even aware it was both discs. I thought they just replaced one disc, but they definitely replaced the Blu-ray and the 4K. So that's kind of cool. But again, I don't know why they replaced the booklet. So that's... Well, was the booklet recalled? I don't know. On a book, but nevertheless, they sent it all out. So there is that bundle, and let's take a look at our next bundle. First up is The Children. This is another one, again, it was on sale. I heard a lot about it. I think a friend of mine, one of my close friends, he had this on VHS, and he always talked about how much he loved this movie. He'd watch it all the time. It's like he had a very small VHS collection. I believe it consisted of this and Batman, and maybe one other movie. But he would watch this all the time. He could recite it. He just absolutely loved this movie. So that's kind of the, one of the reasons why I picked this up, and kind of as a memory of him, because he's no longer with us. But there was a lot of good features on here. You can see all those, and I just thought it was really cool to pick up. So why not? Let's see what else we got here. I picked up Steel and Lace. This one I don't really know a lot about. Actually, Lace I don't know a lot about. But again, reading the synopsis of it, it just sounded interesting. And I believe this almost has something like a... After her attackers go free, Gally Morton, the victim of a vicious assault, commits suicide. Her vengeful brother, brilliant robotics engineer and scientist Dr. Albert Morton, decides to use his skills to exact vengeance, transplanting his sister's brain into a humanoid cyborg. This is like Deadly Friend, but more actiony. So that right there, just you know where it's going, and that sounds awesome, ridiculous and crazy, but why not? So there it was, Steel and Lace. Let's see how that plays out. Next up, this one just sounded ridiculous and fun. Nice slasher, Blades. I believe this is kind of in with a killer lawnmower. Again, the premise of that just seems too silly to pass up, and why not? And again, it's a nice limited edition slipcover. Why the heck not? And the last one in this bundle is a duo. That's Slaughterhouse Rock and Hard Rock Zombies. One of the reasons that I picked this up, and I don't know if it's my Slaughterhouse Rock, but I know Hard Rock Zombies at least, was that from what I understand, this film was initially this kind of, it was a fake film for another movie, and I believe that movie was American Drive-In, which DVD I have, where it's night at the drive-in and everybody's watching this weird movie, and I believe the movie they're showing is, it's called something else, but it's what would eventually they use that footage as Hard Rock Zombies and making a movie out of it. It's a really interesting story how those intertwine. I just I found it fascinating. I just figured I'd pick that up. It had been out for a while. This has been out for a while. This whole set, but I thought it's still available. Why not pick it up now? I can, so I did. Slaughterhouse Rock, I don't know a whole lot about. I know I've heard about it somewhat, but I can't remember the details. But this is a great cover. You look at the eyes on that; they're kind of embossed, and they kind of, they follow you, but they just look really cool. The yellow kind of stands out. So there's that. Now, let's see what we got here. Our last big bundle. Okay, and we have another double feature, and that is Horror High with Stanley. And I had picked this up, and gosh, I can't remember. No, it was the director of this, the director of Horror High. I can't remember without having to stare at this too long. I want but I was watching something he did. I cannot remember what it was. I'll have to put it down here. I was watching on the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs, and it was interesting. I wish I remember what it's off my head now, but I can't. But I remember they were talking about the history of the director, and he mentioned doing Horror High, and it sounded interesting. And I looked it up, and I was like, "Wait a minute! I remember seeing that on Vinegar Syndrome." And sure enough, it was still available, so I picked it up. And then Stanley, just an added bonus, looks kind of cool. A guy with a killer pet snake, from what I understand. Why not? So check it out. Again, a lot of these films, almost all of them, all of them pretty much are blind buys, just on the premise. This sounded interesting, and they're available, and why not? And here's one that kind of will appeal. It appeals to my well-known sleaze nature as Massage Parlor Murders. This just said, why not? Oh, and I should mention, a lot of these actually, I've been kind of, I do apologize, as I have a lot of these, like, are 4Ks also. I wasn't even mentioning that part. I don't think all of them are. Let me see here. I do apologize for this. You think we're better prepared, huh? Let's see. No. Was horror? No. Hard Rock Zombies? No. So maybe not just that Massage Parlor. Okay. So, no, Massage Parlor Murders is a 4K. Why not? And this one here is a documentary which I have on DVD, and it's Adjust Your Tracking, and it's a very good documentary, basically discussing VHS collectors, which I love. You know, the irony of a documentary on VHS collectors on DVD and now Blu-ray. It's kind of funny if you think about it, but it's a really fascinating documentary. And this was like a new, updated, special edition that was just released. Yeah, the untold story of the VHS collector. So I highly recommend checking this out. You know, even if you don't get this, you could probably still find the DVD fairly cheap on Amazon. That's where I got mine. And I just happened to come, I don't even know how I found that. I think just by accident browsing through Amazon, somehow it popped up. But this is a very entertaining documentary, especially for anyone who grew up with VHS at its height and popularity. And just, it brings back a lot of nostalgic memories. And some of the people on here are very fascinating and interesting folks. And just seeing their collections and, you know, how they feel about them is very enjoyable and entertaining and a lot of fun. So I highly recommend it. Adjust Your Tracking, the untold story of the VHS collector. Very good. And the last one on here, which was their big, I'd say, well, there were a couple of their pre-sales they put out there, but this to me was the big one. And it is Gorgo. And this has got the nice treatment from Vinegar Syndrome. They got the little hard case cover. Great classic creature feature. And your slip. And this also is 4K. So this is probably something I'll go into deeper later on. But this was, yeah, a recent pre-order. It was probably the most, to me, the highlight of their releases when this came out. So, you know, I had to get this again. It's a classic creature feature from I want to say the 50s, somewhere in the 1950s, not exact date, but I definitely wanted to pick this up, and you know, I was not expecting again this night the high end treatment, and I believe I probably should, because they're probably under, you know, now Vinegar Syndrome tends to have certain they've branched out a bit, or, you know, kind of reorganized their whole system, and certain titles under new labels, and they're presented in certain ways, and they've opened up like another website branch, which is, you know, housing all their adult library, which is interesting, and I've placed orders on there too. So yeah, that is the stack from Vinegar Syndrome's, their big summer sale. A lot of interesting, fun titles in here I'm looking forward to checking out. And that's really about it for now. So, you know, if you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you got any of these, if there's anyone you're interested in. Or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, and hopefully for another 100 more videos, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.